Hey guys, this is Curtis Alexander. I'm a pharmacist. In this video, I want to tackle a subscriber question, which is basically this. She was taking levothyroxine. She was diagnosed as having low thyroid, taking levothyroxine, started at 25 micrograms a day about a year ago. Over the course of the year, the doctor's been monitoring her TSH, which is common practice. And the TSH began to normalize as they increase the dose. She's now set at 100 micrograms a day. The problem is, over the course of the year, she's gained 10 pounds. She still has brain fog, still has some hair falling out, sort of these low thyroid symptoms, but she's particularly worried about the weight gain because she said, when I look online, it says that levothyroxine can cause an increase in appetite, and that's where the weight gain's coming from, which I disagree with, and I'll get into a moment why I don't think that's what's going on. But she kind of backed it up by saying, you know, I'm counting my calories, I'm not eating more, I don't feel hungrier, but I'm really struggling to lose any weight. So what's going on? Is it the levothyroxine? And there's a good chance that it is, and I'm going to explain that. So what do we have going on? In our bodies, your body naturally produces a combination of T4 and T3. Okay, T4 is the inactive thyroid, we'll call it inactive. It does bind to some receptors, but for argument's sake, it's inactive. And about 6 of that, so 100 to 6 ratio, about 6 of that is T3, which is the active component. That's what causes the metabolism boost, to have more energy, those sorts of things. But there's another thing that goes on in the body. This is what the body dumps into your system. But what also happens is your body will take this T4 and it will convert it on its own to more T3. And it does that with about 20 micrograms. So overall the ratio now becomes 100, and the 6 plus 20 gives us 26. So now it's about a 4-to-1 ratio. Now this conversion part is really important, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so now we know the end result is for about every 4 T4 we have 1 T3. So what we do with levothyroxine, what the doctor's done, levothyroxine is only T4. It contains no T3. So what we've done is we're dumping T4 into the system. Over time, your body sees that T4 coming in and it starts lowering the thyroid stimulating hormone because it's going, I don't need more T4 pushed out. I need more T3. So it downregulates the TSH. The TSH normalizes and makes it look, if you're only looking at the labs, the TSH looks good, so you should be like, we're good. But what I would encourage her to do is ask the doctor to measure T3 or reverse T3. Reverse T3 is essentially blocks the actions of active T3. Why is it doing that? It's doing that because it's seeing how much, it's like having a fire. You're pouring more and more wood on it in the form of T4, but you've got no flame to put out any heat, so it's not being converted. So this is where dumping more T4 in, if you're not able to convert it, then we've got problems. And that's what I would suggest is probably happening in this case. So what do we have for solutions? So answering the first part of the question, yes, levothyroxine can cause weight gain, not because of increased appetite in most cases. It's usually going to be a conversion problem. Now this conversion problem primarily occurs in the liver, and we'll get to that in a second. The quickest fix is to change products. We can leave the levothyroxine on board. So for example, right now, she's taking 100 micrograms a day. What I would encourage her to do is go back to the doctor and say, let's try to add in T3. And T3, the T3 on the market that I'm familiar with is Cytomel or liothyronine. You can add in T3. And we already know our ratio is 4-to-1. So I would suggest trying 50 micrograms of T4. So I would drop this down. And then I would add in 12.5 micrograms of T3. And just see how she feels. Continue to monitor the labs. Continue to monitor the reverse T3, not just the TSH. And then also look, how is the body temperatures in the morning? How is the pulse in the morning? And also, how do you feel? Are you starting to lose weight? Is the brain fog lifting? And you can adjust the dose based off symptoms instead of going completely based off labs. So that's the first thing we could do. The second thing is we need to help this person improve their conversion of T4 to T3. So like we said, most of it occurs in the liver, so we need to focus on the liver health. So, does a person drink a lot? Is a person diabetic? These are some things that you'll see that can contribute to the conversion process. We already know that insulin resistance plays a role in some of these things. So there's a broad range of things we can tackle, but the first of which is we got to get our liver health in alignment. The other thing is we can't have macro or micronutrient deficiencies. And what I mean by that is one of the things that's critical for T4 to T3 conversion is healthy glucose levels. Now, I don't want to get into a diet discussion to make this video too long, but one of the worst things you can do if you have thyroid issues, don't do fasting. That's not a good way to tackle it. It's probably going to make things worse. And don't go on low carb diets, which are two things I did that made my thyroid health worse. Give your body the macronutrients it needs. Yes, your body can convert glucose by not having carbohydrates. I'm not saying that's not the case. It's just not the best way to go about it if you have thyroid problems. So eat a balanced diet, protein, carbs, fats. Don't eliminate carbohydrates and don't fast. The other thing is the micronutrients. So we're talking things like zinc, selenium, copper plays a role. There's micronutrients that help this conversion process as well as macronutrients. So that's a two-pronged plan. Yes, levothyroxine can cause weight gain, generally not due to increased appetite. It's generally due to trying to work against your body's normal process. And then we have to help our body along with this conversion process, and that starts with our diet. So I would love for you guys to post in the comments, have you seen this happen to you before, your experience with it? Some people take T4 and they feel good because they still have conversion available. So it works for them. But at any rate, I appreciate you dropping some comments, and I learn a lot from the comments. I read them all. I may not be able to respond to them, but I read them all. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it answered that question and made sense. And until the next one, this is Curtis Alexander. Thank you.